Hi everyone, again another art class during lockdown. I'm going to draw a horse for you today, and I'm just going to do a little sketch up here for those of you that are used to this sort of, I call it circles and sausages, where we draw the galloping Arabian horse, which I got off the internet here, and we have this technique where you draw sort of large circles and sausages, and that kind of helps you know where the horse positions of the leg, etc. And that's great. I love that technique, but I'm going to show you another technique. Grab your paper and pencil, and this technique's quite fun, and it helps you stay on the page so you don't start losing part of the drawing of the horse. I'm just going to draw his. We're learning how we do movement as well, so this is a very nice way of learning how to draw a horse, but I'm going to show you how to actually draw the measure on a grid, which is a little bit different style of drawing. And I'm going to leave this sketch here because I want you to feel free about leaving sketching everywhere on everything. I want it to be rough because we mustn't get precious about our art. And oh, by the way, please, please, please never throw your artwork away. So we've got an eraser that I'll use later on, but for now we're just going to use this grid. We're going to follow the drawing of the horse, and it's going to keep me in check. So it doesn't have to be absolute, but I'm just putting the ears and then the head, and I'm just going to use this square here to kind of keep me in check so I don't get too big. And I can't help myself, but I'm going to start shading this horse's head in. You want to use lots and lots of lines and free lines, that's what I'm trying to say, because the more you've got those sketch lines, the more dramatic it is, the more powerful it is. And you're changing and learning and looking. It's very important that you're always looking. Like I say, it's a bit like a tennis player. Tennis player never takes their eye off the ball, and that's the same idea here. You must keep checking your subjects. Okay, now this is a wonderful drawing. I picked this one, wonderful photograph. I picked this one especially because you've got the mane flowing. It's not too difficult a position, and it's just a gorgeous photograph of a horse running on a perfect green field. Okay, so now I've done the head, and this seems a little bit odd that I would just draw the head, but I'm using these grid lines now, and this is what I mean. So if we put another line down, say around back here, you've got the horse's top of the horse's ear coming down, and then this one slightly above it. I'm going to make it lovely. Look how black that ear is, because we've got this wonderful shadow. I'm just going to put the mane in now, and then this is a striking angle. So the angle, if you put it in a box, the forehead is on this angle, not this angle. So we've got the forehead, and now we've got the eye juts out quite a bit. Maybe I've done that too much, but you've got to trust what you're seeing and not what you think you see. Okay, now I'm really pushing down hard now because I love this dramatic shadow, and you'll see how much the horse improves just by me checking the whole time. Okay. So the other eye is it underneath the ear? No, it's slightly over. And that stops you from doing a huge ear or a huge eye. It keeps everything in check. I hope that all makes perfect sense. Now horses have quite large cheeks. So I'm going to draw this a little bit bigger. And this shadow under the jawline is slightly to the left side of this eye here. So it's in line. And then that's a lovely deep dark shadow. Now you can see that this is actually longer. And is this bottom chin in line with the ear? No, which is what we want. We want it to be away from the line of the other ear. You'll see what I mean in a second. So actually the horse's nose is longer than we first imagined. Okay, now that is a better drawing of a horse's head. And oh, I found my eraser. And I'm actually going to rub out quite a bit just to give you a better idea of what it should look like when it's finished. Okay, so now the original drawing of the horse that I did of his head was actually quite short. There we go. And it's actually longer than we think that we're looking at. So this is how you draw accurately. It's checking, measuring. Again, I've probably taken all the fun out of drawing, but if you really want to learn how to draw accurately, this is how you do it. All the circles and sausages aren't going to help you to produce something like this. Okay, so if you look at a sketch by, I actually think now I'm looking at it, this ear is a little bit higher, so you can change it all the time. If you look at a Leonardo da Vinci, not DiCaprio, sketch, which was done hundreds and hundreds of years ago, then he did loads of sketches. He didn't go straight in and do a Mona Lisa. It didn't work out like that, unfortunately. It's a lot of work, but of course he loved what he did, and he was an inventor as well, a designer. Okay, those ears are better placed now, that black of the ear, the shadow. Okay, so now we got, and I think he needs bigger ears. So it's an odd approach to doing a horse, and everyone's learnt how to do sausage horses, and that's great. But this is the level, will take you to another level. You just keep checking. See, there was a lot of drawing and changing and erasing before I got to the final. Just do that again. So this is quite a hard pencil I'm using, but it was all I had. I can't jump to the shops and get nice fancy dancy crayons, charcoals, pastels. So this is a hard. There we go. All right, so now we've got our horse, and is the ear in line with that cheek? Yes. Now, is the ear in line with the bottom of the neck? Now we're starting to realize, once we've got the head in, that this neck is much, much longer than what I originally drew. And we have to do that all the way through. So let's see how we do. Now this is called cross-hatching, and you can see, I was talking about this yesterday, and this is the old style of drawing in black and white, and Leonardo da Vinci used this technique as well. And you just keep going over and over. It's cross hatching, cross, and that's how you get darker and darker and darker. I'm also going to do a naughty thing and use my eraser to create a more stunning effect in a minute. There's loads of styles that you can use when drawing an animal. I'm just showing you one, and you can take from it the bits you like and the bits you don't like. Just checking if his chin is at the shoulder level. Yeah, so his shoulder comes to about here. That's his shoulder. Huge, powerful horse. Now I'm going to draw the legs. Now I know that this line is where that hoof should come. So now I'm in the same space, the same area with the hoof as the horse's nose. Okay, this is all very dark, and it becomes so much easier to create a really fantastic effect. You're starting to work much faster when you know you can just use these grids. I'm also doing a bit of light and shade here, which is basically, again, the cross hatching. But just remember that in here, it's almost black if you look at the horse, and that gives the drawing a lot of power. So this knee is actually very high up, and it comes down. So the horse's, we put it in a box, the horse's foot comes down at this sort of angle. There we go. So it's going in this direction. Okay, so I think I'm almost right there, and it's in line with the other knee, this ankle. Apologies for the ha-de-da, the birds outside are very noisy. Okay, so, because I'm in Johannesburg, which has a lot of ha-de-das. We actually have parakeets as well. I don't know about you, but the lockdown has brought out all the wildlife. And I was trying to do the recording for the advertisement yesterday, and it was at sunset, and there's no traffic noise, nothing. And I'm lucky enough to have a garden, and the birds were making such a racket. I think there was an eagle or some bird of prey. And I couldn't do the recording until they had all calmed down, which took about an hour. Okay, more cross-hatching. Actually, I can see that that's not right. I'm just going to lower that. Okay, so we're pretty much getting the hang of this now. I always forget how long a horse's body is. They're stunning animals, horses, and they're so loving. I have this lovely story of traveling in New Zealand on my own. It's a beautiful country, and I was going from house to house offering to do portraits of people's kids and paintings of their houses. That's how I made my way around New Zealand. People were very keen to have me come and stay, and so I stayed in a horse farm where there were all these foals in a field, and I went to do a drawing in the morning of their landscape. So I sat in the field and these foals came up to me, and it got a little bit scary because they all 20 of them came and then sniffed my hair and started to feel a bit more confident. And I thought, oh, maybe I'm not supposed to be in the middle of their field. And then they all started to lie down because I was sitting on the grass, just checking this belly is big enough, and fell asleep next to me. 20 foals fell asleep next to me while I drew because I wasn't doing anything in their mind. So they just came and joined me, sitting in the field. It was so beautiful, and that curiosity. Such gentle souls, horses. Now this is a good point here. The length of this leg, this back leg, and this curve here is much more sort of thinner than you would expect. I'm just going to make this darker. And this is very important, that you respect what you see and not try to interpret what you think a horse's rear end should look like. Because if you trust what you're seeing, what your eyes are telling you rather than what your mind is telling you, then you're on to the road of success. If this is the sort of thing, if you want to be able to draw beautiful, accurate sketches of anatomy, I'm just checking if this is, I think my horse's leg is not long enough. So this is quite a dramatic leg. There we go. It's still on the page. Got to keep checking. Okay, so beautiful, long, elegant leg. You can exaggerate, by the way. There's nothing saying that you can't do that. But I'm obviously, for lessons purposes, I'm trying to keep as faithful to drawing a horse in movement. Okay, and then this darkness here is actually the shadow of the other leg, and I can see already this is too high. We've got this shape in here, and does the back of the horse's leg come in line with the horse's bottom? Kind of, almost. All right, now we've got that powerful back legs and shadow here to show that that is going behind. This really is quite a hard pencil to work with, and it's very scratchy. Okay. The power of this animal. I always wanted a horse, but I never had one. I hadn't always dreamt of a horse. I did actually ride in Chile, where I was an artist on an expedition, and I had this horse that was quite small, beautiful animal. Here, I forgot to do the mane now. Let's get that mane on because we want to create that power of movement. And I rode this horse. We were herding in Chile cattle, and I just galloped around Chile with this beautiful horse, and we slept under the stars at night. I was with a group, and I thought that was probably my happiest memory of Chile. Beautiful country. I might put the sketches that I did on that trip. Right, this tail is gorgeous. I'll put my sketches on my Instagram along with some of the kids' drawings, because we're getting quite a lot of kids that are sending in their sketches, which is wonderful. There's no point hiding it in a cupboard. Put them out there. Get your parents to feel proud of their kids' achievements. Okay. So I think we've got our horse. Just make that a bit darker. And there's also other ways of creating a mood. See, that's actually perfect. That and that, they're not on the same line. I'm going to put the shadow on. And this is actually, this hoof is, again, I'm checking it, it's in the right place, which I was worried about. And it's not quite touching the ground. This one is. So we're going to put the shadow there. And this is a very good discipline. All of you can practice this technique. You can definitely do the sausage drawing. And these are great for just getting to know the horse. But this is more fun. Just going to make this horse a bit darker here, and now we're going to raise. This is more fun because you're actually cross-hatching and shading in all at the same time. Yeah, you can really see the cross-hatching in action now. I'm looking for the areas that are darkest, and then see, the funny thing is the horse's belly and then the light. I picked this photograph as well because I wanted to have light and shade, so you want that wonderful reflection of light on the horse. That's what's going to impress everyone, especially your school teacher, when you've got this sort of tonal change all over the place. It means you've looked at the anatomy, you're learning, you're finding out how a horse's foot really looks. And I'm going to some old style paintings of horses before the camera was invented, and how they didn't understand, artists, how horses ran. They had no way of stop-start recording, capturing. So there's some great racing paintings that were commissioned in the 1700s, and also the idea that these race horses needed to be very impressive because they were sent to a possible buyer, so they would exaggerate these horses' necks and legs and then give them tiny heads to give the buyer the impression that this was a extraordinary animal. Right, so very similar to the what I did to the head. I'm now actually going to rub some of these gorgeous lines out. You do not have to do this, but it is another technique. You can also smudge, and I'm also trying to show you that you don't have to be precious about your art. Okay, so the table's wobbling. It actually adds to it. So use your eraser to create more texture. So you've got some of that cross-hatching, and there we go. It's coming together now. Remember, if you subscribe and write in, I can do whatever your requests are. Tomorrow we're doing a caricature of a politician, which is of your choice, so you can just write in and let me know. Please send me all your artwork. I'd love to be able to put it on the Instagram gallery, so please, if you're watching and you want to share your art and your ideas so that you can dictate what we're going to do the next day. Okay, so somebody wrote in and said they wanted me to draw a caricature, so that's why we're doing that tomorrow. So we'll see you then, 5 p.m. GMT time on YouTube. Take care.